Welcome to Extreme Radio, presented by GracePointe Healthcare. GracePointeHealthcare.com. Mention you're with 8-Man Extreme when you request your appointment online. $20 off your new patient office visit fee. GracePointe Healthcare, modern medicine the old-fashioned way. It's sponsored by Jets Pizza of Springfield, Fort Campbell, Clarksville, and Goodlettsville. Let's get Jets. Well, it's bittersweet, gentlemen. We're at the final Extreme Radio of 2020. Feels really surreal, doesn't it?
That's a good feeling.
Well, good for you.
I'm tired. It's been a long season. I'm glad we made it through it, but it's been a long season.
Well, I had a month break, so
that's true.
You had a rest period.
Maybe we should. Maybe we should have my guy over here, like, just keep going for the next month. Just like do it from his house by himself.
Oh, me?
With some less than par equipment. He could like pre-record it and edit it and put it on an app or something.
Maybe. What about maybe?
And that's going to do it for Extreme Radio, ladies and gentlemen.
that is the show there. But
that's a wrap.
Yeah, we're at the final show of 2020. It feels like yesterday I just sent out an email to Zachary and Jack at the NSMA chapter to say, hey, get involved. And
well, it actually was yesterday.
Yeah, it was. It was yesterday. They just kind of snuck into the studio one day and started segueing in to get involved. So it's just the times we live in of how time just doesn't seem like an actual concept.
It felt like March, April, and May took 4 years, but the rest of the year has taken like 30 days.
Not for me. I was out delivering food so much that I was just one.
Well, we were supposed to be quarantined, so
I was helping people quarantine. So.
Cool
not
story.
Everybody is able to.
I didn't think we were competing.
Cool story.
Hey, I mean,
I think I was home for like 2 days, like once I got laid off, and then after that I was like, nope. And I called my buddy who was doing landscape and home repair and stuff, and I was like, yo, what time you want me there in the morning?
Yeah, it's also really it's really incredible that we got to this point with about, I think, 5 or 6 games canceled due to COVID outbreaks
through the season.
Yeah, through the season. I think it was about 5.
Closer. You had Heat Lighthouse, FCS South Haven, CCS FCA, Ezel Harding Lighthouse,
and then
Lancaster FCA,
and then we'll get into it, but the consolation game for the NHSA game. So 6.
There wasn't anything before Heat Lighthouse?
No other quarantines. No.
Now,
other
do we count games that were canceled because of travel restrictions? Because then you could have had Bowling Green Freedom in there.
That I'm talking about games canceled because of a COVID outbreak. I'm saying because of a COVID outbreak, because that game. Because
then I wouldn't call the NHSA game an outbreak. One kid tested positive.
Okay. It was canceled because that week or close to that day there was an issue with COVID-19 with someone getting infected and the potential of other teams getting infected. So in that case, it would be 6.
Well, and it wasn't even a kid on the team, though.
Right, and we'll get into
it. It was two kids at the school and then kids on the team that sat next to them, so they were being cautious with that.
Yeah, I was about to get into it, so still 6.
Not bad.
Still 6. So
I'm just going to sit over here and take a drink of my key lime pie bang.
You're addicted to those now. That's not a good thing.
I do drink a lot of water. I do be drinking a lot of water.
It's still energy drinks.
As long as you're drinking water, though.
It's still the amount of caffeine and the amount of caffeine and vitamins.
This uses creatine and aminos.
I'm sure it's still got caffeine.
0 fat, 0 sugar, 0 carbs, 0 protein.
Yeah. Maybe it's
5 grams of calcium.
That's like going to work out and only work on the left side of your arm, saying you're working with your arms on your arms.
Yeah. Yeah.
My guy.
He's very right.
I feel attacked.
Let's get into the games that happened this last week, the final games in 8-man football. So James already answered it. We broke it on the show last week. The consolation game between the Tennessee Heat and the Southern Prep Academy Fighting Rangers was canceled. The Southern Prep, they had a classmate that tested positive that a lot of the players were around, and out of an abundance of precaution, they all got tested in Florida. To my knowledge, they were all either negative or they.
All the ones in Florida.
All negative or all positive, no in between.
The ones in Florida
Yeah, the ones in Florida were negative, so even
Somebody
with that
said not
exposure
sure.
and everything.
Not sure if this is mocking or not, and that's my. Sorry.
But for Southern Prep, of course, unfortunately their season had to end that way, and for the Tennessee Heat, their season had to end that way as well without getting a game, and it's unfortunate. Would have been an interesting consolation game to see between those two teams. Neither of them would have gotten a hardware, but they would have at least ended their season on. One of them would have ended it on a high note.
Heat would have run away with it.
At least, yeah. At least your opinion on there. You said the Heat
would have ran away with it.
Well, I did have the. I was gonna pick the Heat.
Yeah. Well, you guys already. We went as if we were already picking those games. I think you guys did pick the Heat.
Yeah.
Heat, and I think producer
I
Jack.
didn't pick the Heat.
You picked Southern Prep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it was 2-1 on
He picked
that.
Prep.
But for the Tennessee Heat, they still enjoyed Florida.
Oh,
They
it was
still
a blast.
enjoyed it. Yeah.
Every team that went down.
How about my guy Zachary beating at
Running.
least 4
Dude,
or 5
running
people
the
in
ping pong table.
table? Yeah. Yeah, about 4 or 5
Okay,
guys.
question: is it ping pong table or table tennis?
You could call it either.
That table
I
was
heard
ping
either.
pong.
Yeah, that's ping pong.
The table tennis ones are the ones that are like set up like a tennis court. So they have those 2 extra lines, like a real tennis court has.
Y'all didn't realize you were gonna get a breakdown of what table tennis was when you logged in.
Play the outro music. It ends it there. Just play the outro music.
That's it for the show.
Yeah, we're just talking about table tennis. For the Tennessee Heat, Coach Scott mentioned to the guys he was trying to pick up another game. At least at this point, nothing's confirmed. But it's just tough for them to end the season that way.
Oh, I would hate it.
Yeah.
If I'm a senior and I'm looking at the situation, I'm like, dude, like 3-4 games got taken from us, not of our own doing.
Yeah.
And just,
Yeah.
man, that's rough.
Heart goes out to the Ezel, Harding, and Lancaster teams too.
Yeah, absolutely. Their seniors the same way.
Yeah, it's tough for them. Tough
Like
for
to
them.
not like it's one thing to like last night for the South Haven guys, like to have your season end on the field and just know that hey, we lost the game and that's
Right.
the end of our season. But and like you at least had something to do with that.
Yeah.
But then to know that your season's over and there's nothing you could have done about it.
Yeah.
That's tough.
It's tough. It's tough in that, but of course, game did not occur. But the one that did occur, the national championship, they still went on. Even with the negative, even with the potential of Ezekiel Academy, they may have been exposed to it. Of course, all the players who went to Florida turned out negative, but they pressed on. They decided to play the national championship because they realized, because both teams agreed that even if we get exposed to it, we'll just quarantine after winning a national championship. So they gave their seniors their last game there. And for Ezekiel Academy, in their first trip to Florida, they could not escape with the win. They went up 13-0, but the Evangel Christian School Lightning and that Tim Smith system, 13 was the score for both teams at halftime, and then just a 27-point run for the Evangel Christian School Lightning.
Somebody told me, well, technically it was a 40-point run.
You could count it as that 40 point. I'm talking about going into the second half.
Second half, yeah, that's fair. I had someone tell me that when it was tied at 13, the moment. Can I get one of those two?
No.
Okay.
We go off track so many times during this show.
Yeah.
I had someone tell me the moment they knew they were in trouble in that game was somebody on the Ezekiel side looked over at the Evangel side, and a player was sitting on the bench. I'll go ahead and say Jet Lodge was sitting on the Evangel bench, smiling and pointing at his ring finger. And he looked over, and all the coaches were like chuckling. And that's when they knew, uh-oh,
Yep.
Here we go.
I honestly
Here
would.
we go. Just
Listen,
like the TikTok.
if there's like an intimidating thing, like if I could put that into perspective for like a player, that's like if you're just on like a dark road in the middle of the night, right? And you're surrounded by one street light that's your only source. You hear something coming from around the corner. It's getting closer. It's running towards you. And at the last moment, all you see is Ray Lewis coming in and he just smacks you in the all 5'11",
Or
250 pounds of pure muscle.
Or Derrick Henry and your name is Earl Thomas.
Or
not-
Josh
Yo,
Norman.
Yo,
You
you
went
know
from
what made me
defense-
mad? The other night I saw this thing that said the Titans are signing Earl Thomas, and I was hype. I was like, let's go. And then turns out it's not true, and I was so mad.
I don't know what kind of tension that would create in the locker room. I think Derrick Henry would just sit there and be like, "Hey, thank you for blocking for me." You switch up real quick.
Earl Thomas would walk in and like say, "Hey,
Start boxing.
Would you like gifts for Father's Day?"
It's like whenever Derrick Henry did a stiff arm against Josh Norman, and immediately on Wikipedia 3 minutes later, it was like Josh Norman, who plays for the Buffalo Bills, a.k.a. Derrick Henry's son. I was like, bro.
But the Evangel Christian School Lightning, the only team to three-peat in the national championship. That first matchup
in Dayton and Panama City.
Well, Dayton and Panama, yes, but that first matchup between Ezekiel Academy and Evangel Christian School, that's going to be like 2018 in the SEC championship when it was the SEC defending champions and runner-up for the national title, Georgia Bulldogs, then the defending national champion Crimson Tide, Alabama. It's going to be just like that. Two Alabama teams.
It's the same situation.
Yep.
It's like, okay, Alabama's defending. They have to go back. Ezekiel's technically the state champ. Though not technically. They are the state champ. So they get to go because they're state champ. But Alabama Evangel has to go defend their national title, and they defended it.
Yep, they get to
Not
go defend it
only
again.
do they defend it, they defended it with honor. I think, how many unanswered points was it? It was
40 unanswered.
Yeah, 40 unanswered from when Ezekiel went up 13.
So the first game they went down 7-0, and then didn't allow the Heat to score until the final minutes. So I think they put up 40 there too, didn't they?
I think there's some sports psychology going on there from Coach Smith. He's saying let your guys go down so that they can have more motivation to just push.
And I picked Ezekiel because if you saw the Ezekiel Southern Prep game, it's like I said last week, they started out slow and then picked up steam against Southern Prep. And then I saw Evangel, when they played the Heat, start out hot, and then they were able to cruise the rest of the game. I said, if you overlap those two, that puts Ezekiel winning it. And that was the flip-flop reverse situation. Ezekiel came out hot, went off, and then Evangel grew and built momentum.
Yep.
That
And
4th
took
and
off.
20 really changed the game.
Oh, it did, 100%.
Yep.
100%.
It was like the equivalent of Randy Orton hitting an RKO, and then another one, and then another one. That was basically their
Okay,
touchdowns.
DJ Khaled.
I mean, all they do is
And
win,
another
win,
one.
win, no matter what. That was the case for Evangel
another
the
one.
majority of the season.
Like an RKO out of nowhere. Just boom. Speaking of RKO, isn't it Survivor Series tonight?
I
don't know.
actually don't
I don't
know.
watch Survivor.
I
Probably.
apologize for us.
You don't watch Survivor?
No, I don't. Closest
You
thing I
mean-
watched
you
that
mean-
was Total Drama Island because of how much of a parody it is of reality
It
shows.
was-
It's
You mean
hilarious.
WWE?
Fantastic show, though.
I watched Sports Center.
So do I. Yeah, I watch.
That basically is reality TV. Depends who you watch.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. So the TSIAA had two games on Saturday. One for Division 2 or depends.
Division 2.
Yeah, Division 2. And the Division 1 championship. We'll start with Division 2 that Zachary and James got to call. I showed up last second just to present the prizes to the players and such. And I will admit, I messed up when I said the quarterback crutch Rizal. I messed up on that.
Oh, my gosh. I heard that, and I was like,
Yeah.
no, he didn't say that.
I messed up on that.
Okay, so I heard that
It was Rubelsky.
Rebelski.
No, I know it's. Yeah, I know it's I know Rebelski's Riverside. I appreciate the way the Riverside players went with it. They said, "Yeah, he's my quarterback." They all said that and everything. So I messed up on that. It was.
Geez, you spend a whole season covering a team, and then you can't even
Yeah.
get their quarterback right.
Hey,
You called 3. Oh, wow. You
Ow.
called my vote. You called 3 Riverside games.
Yeah, I slept since then.
That's okay. That's fair.
Yeah,
I
I
see what
slept
you did
since
there.
then, and you know it. Yeah, I could.
I see what you did there.
But Franklin Classical, they were down 22-0, and they tried to fight back. There were a lot of situations where they could have easily evened up the score and everything. But for Classical in their first year with Isaiah Austin at the helm, they've got some good stuff to build off of.
Couple Eli Cornett touchdowns called back, but we won't bring that up.
Okay, that long touchdown, those were blindside blocks. On the kick return, Because you can't block with your butt facing the goal line, the end zone you're going to. You can't be facing the other team's end zone
Cry
and
about
come
it.
back from behind and block and hit them. That's what they did it twice on that.
But was it behind the play though?
It doesn't matter if it's behind the play.
It does.
Not a
It
blindside
actually
block.
does.
No.
If the return man is coming at you, and the defender's there, and, okay.
I was about to get some popcorn and let you guys keep going at the debate there on the rules, but
But
I guess they already
unfortunately, we
shut
have a
it
show
down.
to do.
But
I'll show you popcorn.
But Zachary, for Riverside, of course, the Division II champions for the second time in their school history, and for Coach Creasy,
third time, my guy.
oh third time. Well, do you count the MTAC Bowl? Is that what you're counting, or
They beat Sacred Heart
Sacred
in
Heart Division
2013,
that was Division? Oh, okay, so they had a few years. So
and then they
Division
beat
II in
FCA.
Riverside.
No, they beat Sacred Heart in 2012.
2012.
Beat FCA in 2013.
Division II. Okay.
So
they still
three-time
had it back
Division
then,
two.
yeah. So yeah, but for Riverside, Coach Creasy now has 3 Division II championships under his belt. Hasn't quite. They were a game away for participating for the Division I for the then state championship. They were a game away when they lost to Ezel Harding. So still more stuff to build off of. But for Coach Creasy, you wonder with how many years he's been doing this. You wonder if is this the top of the mountain, or is he still going?
I wouldn't say Division II championships the top of the mountain.
I only say that because they won 3 Division II. I just wonder when he's been around the block for a long time. I wonder when it's time to hang up the coaching cap.
Oh, that's a good question.
That's
I'm
a
not
good
trying
question.
to answer that question.
Fair.
I mean-
that's up to him.
Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
want to answer that either. But you said top of the mountain, and that's not top of the mountain.
That's the top. That's the top of the
He
mountain.
took a
that they
break.
cut.
To be fair,
To be fair, there are people who are saying he's a state champion. So that could be considered top of the mountain, is saying they're state champions.
or a three-time state champ.
3-time state champions. Yeah, people
Yeah.
say that. So that's
To be
technically the top of the mountain.
To be fair, I mean they did beat Classical last. So if you look at the other two teams that would have been in the D2 playoffs,
Sacred Heart.
they
and,
beat Classical, they beat Providence, and they would have beat Sacred Heart. So out of those 4 teams, they are the best.
Yes, easily.
Question is, would they
Well-
have beaten Bowling Green?
See, but here's
And
the
would they
thing:
have beaten the Heat?
they were in playoff contention for D1 Division I for so long that I feel like it was kind of a letdown that they didn't get in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, they were there, and they were my dark horse.
That would have been my dark horse too.
Imagine if they had gotten that. Imagine if Ezel Harding hadn't won against Franklin Classical earlier in the year, and Riverside had gotten that W. They would have been the 3 seed for the South. They would have been in there instead of they would have been either 3 seed because they lost to Franklin Christian and Lancaster. So they would have been 3 seed. They would have gone on the road to Christian Community,
I think they would have beat CCS.
and then they would have advanced against South Haven. So it would have been Riverside South Haven for the semi. That would, and we all know what happened last year with that in
We
2019.
know what happened last year, but
But anyways, congratulations
Damn.
to Riverside Christian, Division II champions, and Franklin Classical runner-ups for the Division II championship. And for the game that Zachary and I called the final 8-man football game of the year between schools, the Franklin Christian Academy Falcons. What a game! I was telling these guys before you arrived in studio, James, that I think this is the best championship that I've had the pleasure of calling, and that's coming from 2015 when I called FCA winning their first state championship when I was with the school.
really,
You're talking about state championships, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
About to say, because last year the Ezel game in the
That-
national championship.
Yeah, I'm saying state championship. National championship
well,
was
technically
hard.
Division I champions.
To be
Championships.
fair,
I'm
I
still
feel
s-
like we
I'm
have to
saying state,
clarify
yeah.
what's actually state championship because I thought we were talking about something else. But
That's why. I
see,
keep
because
going.
there's
So,
apparently
but,
so many
okay.
different state championships. I'm just saying.
It's
I'm
like
not
a-
taking a shot
You're
there.
right.
No, so I don't know that last night was better than 2017.
The reason I say that is because you have the number 1 seeds colliding, and the storyline kind of set itself of how in the beginning of the season it was a comeback win from behind, Whereas in 2017, that matchup between CCS and South Haven wasn't close.
Guys,
In the
I see a
regular season.
random plug.
What is this?
What is that supposed to be plugged into?
That's the laptop.
Okay,
Oh,
that makes me feel better.
he just holds up a random 3-prong plug. He's like, my guys.
I was gonna say everything was working, so I was like, I actually don't. I was like, that can't be important if.
I was so nervous.
And to punish Zachary for distracting us off top again, yawn. There we go. Got him.
But in my defense,
Yawn. Okay.
that
back
could have
on
been
top,
a big
yawn.
cable.
Get back on topic.
I mean, I'm
Back
not
on topic.
arguing last night. And let me go on the record and say this too, okay? Listen, for all the talk about the state champs, blah blah blah, that whole situation with the state champs and championships, with all that, I do not want to take away that those young men from FCA last night deserved to win that championship. They came back from 22-0 or 22-7. 15 unanswered. Came back from down 15 points to win the game. They deserved to win that championship.
Yeah.
It was a carbon copy of the first time they played.
It was exactly.
They
It
were-
was exactly.
Yeah, they were down. And it was the reason I say is better than 2017 is also an attribute to we had a good broadcast. I think we
Oh, it
really
was a
did.
much better broadcast than 2017 with the iPhone.
We didn't have the iPhone at 17.
Yeah.
Mm-mm. It was
Yeah.
no. It was well. We had to keep swapping between the iPhone because the camera battery was dead, but we used a laptop and everything. That was the first time we did that.
In 2017.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Camera battery kept
thought
on.
we
We had
used-
you on Discord sideline interview doing
I thought we
sideline
were
recording.
doing iPhone.
No, but no, it was really good. Better broadcast, and Franklin Christian in line with how they performed against South Haven in their first game of the regular season.
I will
It was a
say
good championship.
there were a lot of turnovers. A
I
whole
think it was
bunch
two,
of turnovers.
I think it was 2 per team, or maybe 3 per team. something
Three.
like that. Yeah, 3 per team. So total. Of
So
Well,
in
we
the-
had like
And they-
we had like 17 in the first 2 minutes.
And it wasn't like they came at different points in the game. What happened would be South Haven would throw an interception or fumble, and then 2 plays later or the very next play,
Yeah.
FCA will
That
turn
happened.
around and fumble right back.
Yeah.
I did hear, because that was very uncharacteristic with those interceptions from Crawley.
Yeah.
I did hear that at one point earlier this week he actually cut his finger open at work. He was working, and the place he was at, he cut his finger open, so he was dealing with that issue
Mm-hmm.
on his throwing hand. I believe it was his index finger.
Yeah.
Which
So
is
that
like
explains
the last
the
finger,
throw. That
which is
explains
the last
throw,
finger
yeah.
to leave the football. So that
Yeah.
affects.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
wearing a glove, trying to deal with that.
Yeah.
I mean, those were uncharacteristic. Like that
And
last
that
interception.
Yeah, that
very
that explains the
uncharacteristic.
pass where they were starting that they were trying to get the game-winning drive, and he tried to throw it, and it slipped off of his hand.
Yeah,
that
exactly.
explains it.
Yeah,
That explains it.
Yeah.
I know Manny was dealing with a groin injury.
Yeah. How about
But-
Starnes, I heard. So Starnes made that play last night, right?
Mhm.
You guys didn't tell me. Did he get rolled up in that
Oh,
game last week?
oh, we didn't even think
Yeah.
he was gonna be able to walk like that.
Yeah.
That's
and that's something they said too, was we didn't know if he was even going to be able to go,
Yeah.
which plays into the whole discussion of with them having to play Lighthouse the week before and FCA being off and not having to play
Yeah.
Lancaster.
Yeah.
Did that work as an advantage because FCA was able to go in? Like, I understand the rust situation, but give it a quarter or two and that rust is gone. As opposed to getting banged up the week before, actually knocking helmets against someone else
Yeah.
that's not on your team. Does that affect that situation a little bit? The fact that South Haven played a game.
Imagine if Lancaster had played Franklin Christian, it would have.
That's
been
what
a
I'm saying
whole
too. The
different
potential
situation.
is even there for Lancaster to win, and then you get Lancaster South Haven.
Which would be first matchup between the two on on that 40/80.
So
field.
I mean, so many what ifs
Yep.
if Lancaster had.
I will
actually gotten
say
to play
though, like
FCA.
last night, we're not bashing FCA at all. They definitely deserved to win last night.
yeah,
Yes.
that's what I'm saying. They were
Yes.
15 down,
Yeah, so they definitely
missed a
deserved to
field
win.
goal,
Mm-hmm.
and then had to come back from that whole psychological point of we just made this drive and it ended in 0 points. Now we've got to reboot and get going again.
Yes.
That's why Coach Johnson, we hear it all the time from several of his opponents that he's a great coach, and he proved it not just in that South Haven game in their first game of the season. He proved it yesterday. That's why I said I'm pretty sure he's got job security.
And I will say this also. there were points in the game, especially in that fourth quarter, where it looked like South Haven just gave up. Like they weren't pushing through the whistle. Like there were times, especially on those 2 drives that SGA scored back to back, where the FCA players dragging 1, 2, 3 defenders trying to get that extra 2-3 yards, which ended up becoming crucial. So like they played until the whistle, where South Haven sometimes they just I don't know.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
It was a great state championship. That just everything all around, great things from them. And so right before I leave the press box, James looks at me and says, "You know what you should do? You should ask these questions." And I'm like, maybe I'll do something like that. But I made the decision. You know what? I made the decision of there's people there have been people talking on social media and stuff about claiming that it's not a true state championship unless you play the Tennessee Heat. So while Coach Johnson was answering the question about what he told their guys when they were down, I thought, how am I going to formulate this question? And so I asked the question on air and said there has been discussion online, which is true, that a state champion. That you guys are not necessarily state champions because you haven't played. There's one other independent team, the Tennessee Heat. I think he answered it fairly well with him saying we're state
as best as he could in the moment on the field.
Mm-hmm.
And to be fair, to qualify it,
as you're getting
oh
distracted again.
my goodness,
that's not Des, but Des Carr.
To be fair,
Gosh,
the reason everyone's talking about the Heat being that team is because they are unbeaten in Tennessee 8-man football.
Yep.
Everyone that played. Now the question is, you can look at their schedule. They played the 2018 champs, which different team. 2019 champs, different team. They played Evangel twice, 3-time national champion, 2-time at the time they played them. So you can argue that their schedule did have good teams on it. And then they had some teams that struggled. Freedom was a good team. You can make an argument either way, no matter who you are. You can debate it either way.
Yeah.
But the fact is that the Heat did not lose an 8-man game in Tennessee.
Yep.
So, that's just what makes it interesting, and just the whole point of them being independent. Like, who knows? Go play. And the fact that they couldn't play him in Florida.
Mm-hmm. I think the Tennessee Heat said they're going to hang up a banner, right?
I think they are. I think they're going with a uncontested state champ banner.
Mm-hmm.
So me personally, I support it.
Mm-hmm.
Me personally, I support it. They're unbeaten in Tennessee 8-man. They didn't get a chance to play the conference TSIAA champions or runners up.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't get a chance to play either of those teams. Me personally, I support it. As a group, as 8-man shrimp, it's not our place to get involved in it. We can have discussion about it, but it's not our place to support it one way or the other.
Mm-hmm.
But personally, I support it. My guy may not, and I don't know how you two feel about it, but did you want to get in during sound off?
Not really during sound off. I can say something right now.
Let's talk about it right now.
I mean, I understand like them not being able to contest and everything like that, but I mean, here's the thing. I've been told this ever since I was like a little kid. Life's not fair. And if you want to say you're uncontested state champions, that's fine, but don't claim you are the state champions because clearly there's a team that I think can personally beat you if you were to face off against them that just won state championship. So that's just how I feel about it.
How do you feel about the factor in that the Heat tried to schedule a game with Franklin Christian in the final week of the regular season and they refused?
Because Franklin Christian was getting ready doing the state championship, which they won, and that
no.
They were set
a couple
to
weeks
the
ago.
last week of the season when CCS canceled on FCA and then Memphis canceled on the Heat.
Mm-hmm.
The Heat tried to schedule with FCA, and FCA said no.
Yeah, so they were already.
And they would have
play
already
a game.
had a week between that game and the Lancaster game, or whoever they would have ended up playing.
I mean, like I get why FCA did not or decline that game because I completely get it. Looking in hindsight for the Tennessee Heat themselves and saying, man, that could have been our opportunity, but it wouldn't have accomplished really anything. Because I mean, like at the end of the day, what if they win that game? What does it do for the Tennessee Heat? Because right now they're already claiming they're state champions. So are they just gonna do the same thing, claim their state championships, which they're already doing without that game? Wait, I'm not finished.
They would omit uncontested from the banner. They claim themselves as state champions because they beat every team in Tennessee. Amen.
Yeah, I mean, not every.
Well,
team.
not every team, but
But that's
they beat the team that, like, if FCA would still win the championship, they beat the team that won the
Well, no,
conference
they would have played every 8-man game they've played in Tennessee. They've won.
the reason.
That's
But
true.
you can't say they've beat every team because no, they haven't.
Right.
The claim that I am trying to make is, even if they were to have played that game, let's say that game would have happened. I have a way I think it would have played out in my head. I think I'm right about it, but of course I'm going to stand by everything that I say. My issue is, even if the Tennessee Heat, let's say they played that game and they won that game, and FCA goes out and they win the state championship. Okay, so we're in the same boat exactly that we're in right now. FCA just won state championship, and Tennessee Heat is still claiming the same stuff that they're claiming right now. I think that game accomplishes nothing unless it's for your quote on state championship.
But the
They
Heat can say that they just beat the conference champion. They beat the best team in the Tennessee conference. There's no other other independent teams playing.
Okay, but the Titans beat the Kansas City Chiefs last year in the regular season, and then the Chiefs won the Super Bowl.
Fair.
So are the
Sure.
Titans the
Well, the
best team?
difference is between with that and the professional leagues with the Tennessee Heat got kicked out of the TSIAA.
Yeah.
They were
No,
not
no. Technically, they left.
Technically, they left, but
They
if they tried to
left.
enter back in, they would be ineligible, which is the issue they have. The Titans and the Chiefs, they're both professional people that everyone
Okay,
is
but
in
to
the
clear
league.
the air, they did not get kicked out.
No,
they
no.
left.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. They did not get
But
kicked
you
out.
know, still feel. I mean, we'll move away from that.
Your thoughts, Zach?
I'm kind of indifferent on the whole situation. I really don't know how to feel. I think if
So
they
you're saying if you show up next year, by the way, did get confirmation, Charlie Daniels Park, that football field is now officially the Heat's.
well deserved.
Well deserved.
Well deserved.
Yeah.
Round of applause. Round of applause.
Yeah,
John.
yeah, yeah.
It 100%
Like they
deserved.
now have a home field. They can put their logos in there, their their locker room, weight room, everything. Like that's their facility now, in terms of the football field.
which they deserve.
Which is what it's awesome because you know they've played at Mount Juliet Middle School, Mount Juliet Christian. I mean they've played at 3-4 different fields in the time that they've been the Heat. Now they have a home.
Yep.
An actual home, and that's awesome. But so you're saying if you roll up to Charlie Daniels Park next year, and you see that banner, you're not going to have a thought about it.
Well, they have their own claim, yeah, because they were undefeated in the state of Tennessee. So they claimed themselves state champion. But if
Let's.
I think
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I think if the Heat play FCA and they on a neutral field,
Right.
I think FCA wins. I really do. From what I saw last night,
Which they could have gone and played it in Dayton.
They c-
NACA.
another thing I think is it depends on which Heat team shows up.
Right.
If it's the Heat team that showed up in Florida, I'm taking FCA by 30.
Ooh.
That
Oh,
team,
same.
because literally all Evangel did was run a screen pass to Jet Lodge and Davis over and over and over, same play.
But FCA
Nothing
does
special.
not have anyone on that roster the level of Jet Lodge.
Okay, I will. Yes, but the fact that they couldn't stop a
Much
simple.
love to every FCA player.
How will the Tennessee Heat move the ball? How will they move the ball? It's
'Cause
fine. It's fine. Let's say they don't put up 30, but they're still winning that game because no way the Tennessee Heat is moving the ball the way that they did
FCA
in Florida against that.
Which Heat team needs to show up to beat FCA?
Neither of them. They're
The
not.
one that showed up against Freedom.
They're not.
The one that showed up against Freedom beats FCA but
The
closely.
first Freedom game?
The first Freedom game.
Okay.
Because
What about the team that showed up against Ezel Harding? Or CCS?
I don't. If the team that shows up against CCS gets blown out by 50.
That's fair.
Sorry, that's a hot take, but because against the CCS the first time they went down, they went down by 17. A team like I think it was 17, it was 14 or 17. A team like FCA would have gone up by 30 to 40 in the first half, and then it would have been almost impossible for the Heat to come back in that game.
Well, You got anything else to add to that, James?
Not
No.
really. I mean, that's kind of
And-
my thoughts on it.
And I'm not completely bashing because, like, I'm reading chat. I agree. Tennessee Heat, well coached, a lot of class team. And I'm not going to sit there and hate them because they're, going to put up a banner in their field and claim this, because I think what they're claiming is correct because they're uncontested. If they were to claim that they are the state champions, technically they're not, and I don't stand for that. But they could put a banner and say they're uncontested, and then the claim that they're making, I completely agree with.
Yes.
But do not sit there and tell me that this Heat team is beating FCA, because you're lying to yourselves if you think that.
So you're saying they should not put up uncontested state champs?
I'm saying they should.
Yeah, they should.
Okay.
I'm saying if they didn't have the word uncontested in there, I say that's false.
That's fair. That's
See,
fair.
I say it's completely deserved saying that it's uncontested, because we make the claim that they beat every single team that they played in Tennessee. They haven't beat every team in Tennessee, because otherwise the
everyone they've
conversation would be
played.
different.
Yes.
And they're undefeated in the state of Tennessee when playing 8-man football, and I think that is a very great accomplishment under their name, and I think they should deserve to have some sort of
That's fair.
accolade to their name for this season.
That's exactly what I was trying to say.
That's fair.
So they can say they're uncontested because they tried to schedule games with FCA,
Right.
and the FCA declined. But I don't think FCA FCA didn't really have a choice to accept it afterwards, because now you're getting into basketball season.
Yes.
And that gets
know
into
how I
James'
feel about
opinion as
basketball.
we know. Yeah, we know your stance on
Well,
basketball.
You know how
We
I
all
feel
know
about
your
that.
stance on it, but yeah, there-
Basketball should not start until
Yeah.
after 1st of December.
I agree with that.
That's yeah.
Well, so even
And I
if
played
that,
basketball in high school.
even if
starting
that's
in
the
November.
case, then when will the Tennessee Heat and Franklin Christian play? Because Thanksgiving is
This
next
Friday
week.
night.
On Black Friday after Thanksgiving, when
Yes.
everyone's going to visit family.
Okay,
Dude,
wait, time
they're
out.
literally going to practice. TSSAA teams are going to practice this Thursday
Yeah.
at noon on Thanksgiving Day.
Yeah.
I worked at CPA.
Okay.
a
I've
few
literally
years
had
back.
to do that.
Okay.
A few years back.
TSSAA is the standard, yes, but with how the TSIAA is structured and how their season is and everything.
Okay, so
you're
it comes
expecting
down
them
to how
have a
much do
game.
you love football?
Time out. Another thing
Are
is,
you willing to go out and practice?
They told me basketball makes the most money for them. So obviously they go because of the tournaments.
Money
and
out the
everything, so
window. How much do you love the game of football? That's the question.
that is
Alright.
the question.
Zachary.
Would you
So-
go out at noon? Would you go out on Thanksgiving at whatever, noon, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock? Would you go out and practice so that you could play?
And to be fair, regardless of who on the TSIAA board tells me about that, basketball makes their most money. That's just an obvious thing because basketball has way more games than football. There's so many teams.
But you have
involved
so
in it.
many more
The
people coming to
NCAA
football
makes
games.
it.
let's
I'm just
transition.
clarifying.
Let's transition to Zachary.
okay, another thing you have to take into consideration: these kids won't be able to enjoy their Thanksgiving and eat like they usually would because they're preparing for a game the next day.
Yeah.
So if they eat like that, because I practiced the day after Thanksgiving in high school, in middle school one year on that Black Friday, and I ate like I usually did. Came up the next day and threw up 5 times in practice.
Yeah.
So that's something else you have to take in consideration.
Oh, you don't get to be a typical American.
So,
and gorge yourself out on
because
Thanksgiving.
because this
Poor
has been
thing.
been a very entertaining, I would say, final show of the season. Our chat's very active.
Yeah.
And,
Is it? Hope so.
That's I was trying to say, like, hey, look at our chat, because I actually want to like interact with them and
Sure.
and
Hang on.
respond to the comments that they're saying,
You see
because
it?
otherwise there's no point having a live chat.
Oh,
So-
that's what I was thinking about. I didn't want to say it, but this is almost like a UCF situation where they didn't get the chance to compete
that's what
in the college football
that's what they said.
playoff.
Heat equals UCF
Yeah.
question mark.
Yeah, I was thinking it, but the difference is with UCF, the UCF scheduled a bunch of teams that were not up in the top rankings and everything. And although they went undefeated, they had an incredible run up to that bowl game. Yeah,
Hang on. I love how none of this was said last year with Ezel, but with FCA, no way. No way.
Because the Heat weren't this good last year.
Well,
Ezel Harding beat the Heat last year.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
too.
There was no point in contesting it because they lost.
yeah. Well, I mean, not even that. It's that the Heat were expected to be in the postseason, and then it was right before the postseason they said you aren't eligible to participate in.
And
them
yes, you
because of
did
that
turn
stuff.
on ESPN with Max Kellerman and Stephen A. Smith. There
Let
you go,
me-
sir.
Let me just say this, because I really need to get a drink, because this is really just,
Well, more importantly, we got to get to your sound off segment a little bit.
yeah. Let me just say this. We'll wrap up and I'll get back to the sound off. Heat would score 50 versus FCA. I've got 1,000 cash on that. Here's what I will do. I will personally.
No, that's not him saying it.
No.
That's
I'm reading chat.
in the chats.
Here's
I'm
what I
still-
will do. I will sell every single asset that I have to my name pull every bit of money out of my savings account. I will work as much as I can the previous days leading up to that game, and I will go against you, and I will gladly take your $1,000 plus interest because scoring not only. Okay, listen. If you want to say the Heat versus FCA, Heat would win. That's fine.
I think
but
we
scoring
started sound off.
50, bro, they're not.
Oh no, he's walking out.
He's ready to.
He's walking out.
I never
He's-
get this like.
He was.
Just go ahead and start sound off, bro. Just go ahead and start sound off.
If that's good, you just gave him fodder for sound off. So whoever commented that, congratulations. You just gave him fodder for sound off. Okay, so, but to wrap that up, congratulations to Franklin Christian on winning the Division I championship for the TSIAA. That is their that is their third championship since 2015, and they are now tied with Christian Community and Franklin Classical for the most titles in conference history. So congratulations
Those
to them
three
on that.
schools have also been around the longest. But,
That is true. That is true.
but I digress.
Congratulations to those three. All right, Mr. Hellwig, it is time. It is time.
All right.
This
I love how
final one better be good.
by the
Take
way,
off the headphones.
everybody. If I burst your eardrums that bad, I won't do it because
Turn your speakers down.
All right.
Yeah, turn your
Everybody,
speakers
turn
down.
it down
Be ready.
just a little bit because I'm gonna do it really loud. I'll give you 5 seconds. Here we go. Let's get into the sound off.
Oh, that was pretty mild.
Yeah, it's all
It
right.
was. I told everyone to lower it though.
They-
You know
when
it's
he
bad
d-
whenever the orange.
When he did
goes
that
on
last
that.
week at the national championship, the Evangel guys were leaving, and they looked back like, this brother.
Well, to
Like,
be fair, it was really ambient in there because.
Is echoey, yeah.
Yeah. So imagine if I had the speaker in there too. So
Facts.
actually, with EZO was way better last year than FCA.
I'm gonna throw the headset back on for that one and say yes, Ezel was better
yes,
than FCA.
yes, yeah. No, I'm not saying that they. But
Smith,
you
what
can't
do
say
you think?
FCA is not better than.
Say
they
it
are right
again.
now.
Was Ezel Harding last year better than FCA this year?
Yes. And nobody's distinguishing that. It's close, but they're better.
Yes. I would say in terms of player skill, yes. In terms of coaching, that's not my place to say.
That's
Because
fair.
both McGee and Johnson are incredible coaches, and they have a way to motivate their guys to come back when they're down and to have that mentality. So coaching wise, I can't say, but player wise, yes. Because Kadarius Price and Derek Griffin were just on a whole different level than Dooley, Sheets,
Ooh,
and different guys
really?
like that. In my opinion.
That's fair.
In my opinion,
That's fair.
I mean, they went to a national championship and only lost by 2. So I mean, so I mean,
Shut y'all's mouth last year.
I'm talking
So
about
can't you
compared
shut up
to
now?
You
Why
can
did
compared to
it
comment on
previous
that
years.
if you want to. I know it's my segment. You can say
No,
something.
go ahead.
you're good. You're good. Do your thing.
I will. I'll ignore that for right now at least. So I actually don't want to talk. I want to move away from this conversation just because we've already got things. The only thing I really want to say in sound off.
Almost had it.
Zachary, brother. So, I just want to say congratulations to first of all our team in Florida that won our national championship, Evangel. The only thing I really wanted to comment about that, I didn't want to talk about the game itself because 40 unanswered. Everything that I could say is basically headline titles and things that you don't need me to say out loud because it's pretty blatant what happened in that game. Ezekiel just got outplayed. They just took the game away. Whatever. The thing that I want to talk about was I'm disappointed in a group of people. And hold on, let me off record. I am disappointed with how the Ezekiel fan base was acting in Florida. And I am fair to say this because we are a neutral broadcast. We do not stand a certain way. We sit there and we commentate how it was. Whenever they faced Southern Prep, there were some bad calls in that game. There was a lot of late hits and things like that, and I completely agreed with it. And on a side note, I was saying off record because I was just doing camera, talking to James, doing PA, and I was like, man, they are really not calling anything for Ezekiel. I was like, this is – but, whenever – that was a very great game called by the officials during the championship, and there was nothing fraudulent on Ezekiel's part during that game. But when the fans boo them and when the fans say that's a dirty hit, da-da-da-da-da, and when we go to the end of the game during the celebration And then you have people that are shouting at the coach while he's trying to be interviewed and saying,
Yeah.
"Oh, it's 'cause you played dirty."
Yeah.
It's a comment that I overheard. I didn't hear everything because there was a lot of murmur, but that's really disappointing to see because it's
from adults,
Yeah,
too.
that was an adult who shouted that while I
Because-
was interviewed too. So, but what I will say, I believe that Evangel's cheerleaders handled that with class because they held up 3.
Well,
When
they-
he said that, they held up
I don't know if
3.
they were taking a picture or what. I'll have to go back and watch the
I
video.
couldn't tell
But
you.
let me also just say this because I remember as I was cleaning up and getting our equipment ready before we hit the road, I was doing the banners, and I saw one of the Ezekiel kids, I can't remember who, and their dad, and then they're walking to their car, and then the dad goes and talks to his son and says this, and I can't say names because I can't say it on there.
Don't name
No,
names.
I can't. But 2, I don't know who it was, but the person that said this, you know who you are. They were like, well, this is why you don't play games back to back like this. The team that just beat you literally played a game back
Did
to
the
back.
same thing.
So you can't say that. You cannot say this is why you don't do. This is why we lost, brother. Sit down
Bruh.
and understand what you just said. I understand you're mad, but none of the Ezekiel kids were classless. They handled it with class, respectfully. They played
What
a
did he
great
say?
game. Walked off the field, shook hands, prayed. It was the adults, and I was really disappointed with how they were acting.
The coaches are almost best friends.
The coaches are. We had a great showing on Sunday on Sunday before the game when we talked, and they talked to each other on a frequent basis. A couple times a week they call each other up, and it was supposed to be a really nice, friendly game, and it was up until fans were, getting.
Comment section.
It was way out of line.
And then I'll just talk about.
And to be fair, everyone I've talked to from Ezekiel in the leadership role has completely denounced how the fans and adults handled that situation.
But you shouldn't have to speak on behalf of other adults.
Exactly, I agree.
Which I think is pretty. Not going to say that on there. You guys can use your reference points and understand what I'm trying to say. But back to the whole point of let's go to our state championship where FCA won. I'm not going to go into the whole Tennessee Heat debate because we're not talking about the Tennessee Heat. We're talking about the other team that got in contention. We're going to talk about South Haven. And they did play a great game, but I feel like this happened. I feel like this is a repeat of the game in the regular season, to be fair. Like almost like carbon copy. I'm talking about like someone copying and pasting and then putting your name instead of theirs. Would you agree with me, James?
What's that?
Talking about the game, this state championship was basically almost a replica of what happened in regular season.
Yes, 100%.
The choke was there. The late fanatics were there. It was a
Well, I wouldn't call it a choke.
I wouldn't call it a choke.
I wouldn't call it a choke.
I would say it was the fact that they played a game the week before,
yeah,
and
okay.
that affected it.
Okay. So
I don't know about
I'll
you,
retract that. I'll retract that statement then. The first game was. This game wasn't.
How would you put it, Zach?
Because you were done calling it.
The whole I'm not calling it a choke because the whole year FCA didn't play well in the first quarter.
Right.
They just didn't. They didn't come out strong,
Right.
and they didn't play well in the second. They didn't really play well in the first half of games. It was
They showed that against Providence and Lancaster both.
Yes.
Yep.
The second half of games is where you win games.
Right.
Right. That's where you win games. And
It's
FCA,
almost like it's a boxing match, and they're kind of feeling out
Yes.
their opponent the first
and
half.
then the
Speaking of
second half,
boxing,
FCA does an incredible job of tightening down on offense, tightening down on defense. And I mean, really, what impressed me the most yesterday was Dooley standing back in the backfield, or standing back there and taking hit after hit after hit and making those throws. Because Southampton was bringing pressure, and they were getting home too. That was the big thing. And Dooley stayed in and took the hits and continued to move the ball, move the offense up and down the field. So I wouldn't call it a choke on South Haven's part. I would just say that they kind of settled into the game in the second, third, fourth quarters.
This comment section.
Yeah.
So let me just there's one thing I'm going to point out. Did the Tennessee Heat and South Haven play this year?
No.
Okay.
No.
So there's a comment saying if South Haven won, none of y'all would be saying anything.
Yes, we
I
would
think
have.
yes we would because the Tennessee Heat would still make the same claim that we are. Just gonna
Yeah,
play.
they'd still try to
Just-
play South Haven. We'd
that's-
be saying the same things.
Yeah, there's just because the team is there. I mean, there's no. I don't know. We're gonna let you guys debuckle in the comment section.
yeah.
We're gonna sit back and observe from here on out.
Oh, wait a minute.
Hold on. Unless you see something.
Somebody from FCA saying that they would love to play the Heat.
Okay, fantastic.
Just a player, but still.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. Set that game up. The challenge has been put out there. Well, not by us, but the
It's not like
Tennessee
it's gonna
Heat
be
put that
accepted,
challenge to Frank and
but-
Christian, but whether it's accepted or not is up to them.
Again,
but
to be fair, the Heat was not kicked out of the league. They left the league.
Yeah.
And they don't
left
cheat.
They were pressured out because of the
that-
playoff situation.
Well, it was a bylaw situation.
It was bylaws, and it was brought up to them about 2 weeks before the postseason, and they were pressured out because they said, if you play these guys.
Here's what I want to know. Why does FCA care so much about what everyone else is saying about them winning state? Like,
Yeah.
seriously, like, if you can lay your head down on your pillow at night and feel good about your season and winning the championship, who gives a rip about what anybody else thinks?
You need to take a note out of Sebastian's book and just go ahead and kiss the ring. I know, kiss the girl, kiss the ring. Haha, funny. I tried to do something there. I apologize.
Right.
So why was the Heat kicked out of the league then?
They weren't kicked
They
out.
weren't kicked
They
out. That's
left.
what we're saying. They left the league.
We already went over this on the
Anyways,
show last
we-
year, but
yeah.
you sound off.
I honestly don't really know what else I really have left to say. Except
Just needed to address that.
no.
I will say the fans last night for both teams, fantastic.
Yes.
yeah.
Great fans.
They were cheering.
I would say
they were
for
getting-
97% of the game,
Yeah.
great fans.
both teams fed off of their crowd.
They both FCA did storm the field though.
That is,
Had to
that is
get
true.
told get off the field.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean that's good to see. I'm gonna wrap it up saying this so we can get on with and finish ourselves so we can go to our nice little evening together, fellows. But
This radio show is basically extreme talk in disguise.
No, I mean
Now,
James is on it.
There's one key difference, my man,
we
my
cannot-
person, my guy.
we can't be explicit.
Well, no, not
He's
that.
not
So too.
explicit on there anyway.
It's not edited, and you're still listening. So thank you very much for your time.
As James likes to say, rent free. I'm playing.
Rent-free.
So all I'm gonna say is going to our national championship. Congratulations to all 4 teams for first making it there, and playing. Understand COVID regulations, some things happen,
Yeah.
but you still made it to the national championship. You still
Facts.
competed.
Yeah.
I believe every team gets a trophy, so that's something to take away.
Not in the national tournament. It's
I
only the
thought-
first and second place.
Okay, so I thought there was a third, and I thought there was something.
They
we
had the
talked about.
consolation game. They had to cancel it, but they didn't. They had last year. They had the Division II championship for the national, but that's because they had 5 teams. They were originally going to have 6, and one of them dropped out last second.
Okay,
so.
I got you. My apologies. But, everyone got something to take away from that going into next season. And, some teams got to walk away one team got to walk away as a national champion. So, congratulations to Evangel. Congratulations for FCA. Don't listen to the haters. Enjoy yourselves. Honestly, in my opinion, you have nothing to prove to anybody. You're undefeated. You won state championship. If I'm an FCA player, why do I need to go play another game because a team is upset that I'm a state champion? They're gonna have their own banner, and that's the way they feel about it. So,
Can we get an FCA Heat game next year?
I mean,
No, it's not the same.
It isn't the same.
But-
The seniors
I agree.
graduated.
I
Saying
agree.
that, I agree with Jack. I agree that FCA, I think they're state champions.
no, you can't say they think they are.
No, I'm not saying I think. No, I'm
Oh.
saying they are state champions.
Yeah.
And we're, like I said, I'm indifferent to it because the Heat can have their claim, but
Not just a claim.
Wait,
They're putting up a
what?
banner.
yeah, but
In the
like,
chat, why does it say screenshot?
Well,
11/22,
unfortunately, I can-
Where
Come
were
on.
these people? Where were these people earlier in the year when we had our shows? Where were these people when we went over the bylaws about the 25-player roster thing, which was clarified to us? West Academy is recognized by the state of Tennessee as a church school organization, so they are a school. So per the bylaws, they are a school, and they're able to do that co-op and everything. But where were these people when we were going over that bylaws show and telling them where? Look, here's the deal. Did you have anything?
But we
else?
are glad. But I am glad that.
No, wait, end of sound off. We'll continue on this thought. God.
But I am glad that everyone has decided to tune in because it's.
The one thing I will say before we get into our preview of the All-American game, Nobody on the show hates Franklin Christian Academy.
No.
one
Nobody-
hates anybody in any
Nobody
school.
on
Or any
the show
school.
hates
Nobody.
any school.
Nobody. He
Yeah.
like is.
Yeah.
I hate to say it this way. Nobody's brown nosing any school
Yeah.
either.
No.
Yeah.
FCA went out and they deserved to win that
Yeah,
championship.
That's a
They
that's a
deserved to
clarity.
be state champions.
And we're
in their
go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, you. I was done.
Oh, okay. I feel bad. So, and we're not even trying to bash the Heat because at the beginning of the year and even through the entire year we've really been good on the Heat and everything like that. So, I mean, if you're tuning in for the first time, it seems like we're really bashing people. That's not how we're coming off. We're calling it how it is due to the situation. And if it seems one way or another, we all have our different opinions here in this room. I mean, James feels differently about how the Heat should have their banner versus me.
When the
and
Heat
that's
came
fine.
back, against CCS and Easel Harding, I didn't say, "Oh man, they blew them out and they should have ran the table in the game." I said, "Hey, kudos to them coming back and closing out the game and winning it," but they didn't dominate the game for 3.5 quarters.
And even with this, I don't think it's a classless thing that the Heat's doing because whenever they're claiming, oh, FCA, I don't think I don't think it's classless. I think they have the right to do it, and I completely understand and I completely agree with it. So there's positive things to take out. If you're going to focus on only the negatives, you can do that, and that's completely fine. But just say there are positives that we are saying about every team that we have mentioned. And there's also go ahead.
Someone said, was SCA even invited nationals? They were not, but that's because they were in the TSIAA championships.
Yeah.
And it
They were
interfered
on the
with
list.
nationals.
They were on the list.
Yes.
They would have been happily invited if the national championship were after the state tournament, but because of that state tournament obligations. Now, granted, if Franklin Christian had known that they wouldn't play a semi, then they could have participated in Florida. They just would have had 3 games within the span of 10 days.
Do you have to get
which-
in, do you have to get
gets to
invited?
the player stage.
Do you
Yes, you have to get invited.
Yeah.
D-
It's kind of well. from the
Imagine if
talks-
Riverside just showed up, knocked on the door, and
Well,
hotels
like,
that we're here to
my
play.
understanding is teams say, "Hey, we would like to come."
Yeah, it's
and
it's
then
kind of an
and then
invitation.
the NHSA looks at it and says, "Yes, you can come."
Yeah. So
For
it's,
instance,
it's a hybrid invitation.
Right.
the top 3
Yes.
teams ranked in the country went down there this year.
Right.
Yep.
Evangel, Ezekiel, and the Heat.
Right.
Yep.
Yes, and then
Does
not-
that-
Southern Prep
FCA?
because the other teams couldn't go.
Does FCA beat Evangel?
we just explained how you sign up and go.
That.
Oh.
That's
Okay, here's-
I would love to see that matchup this year.
I
would
think-
love to see that.
Yes.
I don't know if they beat them. I know they make it competitive. I'll throw that out there.
Yeah.
I know they make it competitive.
So anyway, the point I'm
Because-
making here, as you could finish.
The Heat really, the Evangel Heat game wasn't a good matchup for the Heat.
Yeah.
They also had guys hurt.
Yes.
So this will be the final thought on this, and then we have to move on. But no one hates FCA. We don't hate any school in here. If you wonder why the Heat was pressured out of the conference, we talked about it on previous shows. You can go back and listen. If you want to know why we've been critical of FCA with that co-op situation, you could go back and listen to our extreme special. Now, since then, we've been told that that everything on that co-op, the majority of it is within the acceptance of the bylaws. There was that I don't know if it's my place to say that, so I'll move on from that. But the point is, Franklin Christian Academy deserved the championship in the TSIAA.
Easily.
The question we asked is whether or not they could call themselves state champions because they refused to play the Tennessee Heat in the final week of the regular season. That's where we asked that question, and each of us gave our opinions on that. But at the end of the day, the Franklin Christian Academy Falcons are the champions of the Tennessee State Independent Athletic Association, Division I. They are champions. We're not disputing that. And the Heat can put uncontested state champions on their banner, at least with what James is saying. They can, and Jack agrees. They can put that banner up as uncontested state championships. But seriously, we have to move on. We have to move on because
Yeah,
we're
okay.
Can you call the championship last Dynasty championship because the conference has, or the association, whatever, has state in their name?
Or because it
I'll
only
leave that
includes one
question.
conference, apparently.
It's one conference. We'll leave that question out there.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
TSIAA is
we
one
really,
conference.
we really do have to move on.
TSSAA has multiple divisions and all that, but
we really
Survivor
have to.
Series is tonight. by the way.
anyways,
Nice.
stop.
All right.
That's important info.
Very
Boys.
briefly, James, you're on the committee for the Gatlinburg All-American Bowls. I don't know, they haven't finalized the rosters yet, or they're going to publish them at some point. But we do know the coaches in each of the games. We know Isaiah Austin is a head coach for one of the teams. He's joined by the coach of the Southern Prep Academy Fighting Rangers,
Alan Gleaton.
No.
No.
It's not Gleaton.
No, it's Isaiah and the Pack Panthers coach.
Sorry, Pack Panthers.
Alan
Pack
Gleaton.
Panthers, not Southern Prep. Pack Panthers, Alan Gleaton. And then Tim Smith from Evangel is joined by Hunter Wilson from Ezekiel. They're coaching it. That's what I was told.
Okay, so I got clarification. So it's Isaiah and Alan Gleaton. Isaiah's running defense. Gleaton's running offense.
Mm-hmm.
They are co-head coaches.
Uh-huh.
They can each bring 2 or 3 people as a staff for that
Mhm.
side of the ball. The other team is Tim Smith and Roland Bell from Southern Prep.
Okay.
And then each of them can bring a couple people on their staff. So, like,
Okay.
Tim is bringing,
Okay.
for instance, like
He's bringing Coach Wilson.
Hagen Joyner, the offensive coordinator, and Coach Wilson, Hunter Wilson.
Okay.
And
so
then
that's
Roland can
clarified.
bring his assistants or whoever he'd like to bring.
Okay.
Isaiah, I guess he's bringing Josh and Cole. And
Maybe, yeah.
then Alan Gleaton would be bringing whoever he wants for his staff
Mhm.
to run the offensive side of that team.
Okay.
So 4 head coaches, 3 of them with extensive
Football
experience.
at the head coach now. Yeah.
I think Coach Bell's got some experience.
Yeah.
And then, Isaiah.
But yeah.
Kudos.
Yeah. Kudos to Isaiah for getting that nod there. But what are you most excited about seeing in these All-American games?
Okay, so 100% not biased, but Manny Dang is planning on being in Gatlinburg. Talked to him again last night. He confirmed it. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing him. Maybe like him versus Jet Lodge. I wonder if Jet Lodge could tackle Manny.
I wonder if Manny can tackle Jet
Could
Lodge.
tackle me 'cause I'm just built different.
Oh my guy. No, but there's gonna be a lot of great other great players up there. I'm gonna pull up the rosters real quick because I've slept since then.
Zachary, what are you looking forward to in the All-American games?
I mean, I'm just looking forward to a good game with the best talent that we've seen all year. So, I mean, it's gonna be a good one.
So some of the players that are gonna be up there, guys like Bishop Spackman from Ezekiel, Austin Gay, their quarterback. Let's see, Grant Gleaton, Brandon Goolsby's going up there. Daniel Viles, fullback from Evangel, will be up there. Neil McClure, my guy Jamari Liddell is supposed to be up there. Is he on there? I thought he was supposed to be going up there. Yes, at quarterback. He's supposed to be up there. Alex Valbuena, who I've been super high on all year, is up there, along with Robert Mann from Pack Panthers. If you haven't gotten a chance to watch that young man play, he's great. Braxton Coleman from Ezel Harding will be up there. Carter Sutton as well. Naquarius Dowell from Southern Prep is supposed to be up there.
Mm-hmm.
He's been really good. He's had a really good season. A couple of these other guys. Yeah, there's a lot of talent that'll be up there.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure the coaches get to keep their players. So
I don't know. That's a good question.
because I know in previous years they've done that for some sort of chemistry's sake. They've done.
Could be.
I know when Coach Flanders went up there in 2019. Yeah, 2019 he kept his guys. Coach Jason Bragg kept his guys and everything. So they kept their guys.
I'd be interested to see how they split the teams up.
Jack, anything? What are you looking forward to with the All-American games?
See, I don't really know what's going on because I know that our stay is gonna be it's gonna be shortened than we were expecting. So I don't know. Is there like a combine or like is it just practice and then a game?
I think
or what?
there might be a combine situation on Thursday. I don't know. I know COVID.
Oh,
I know COVID and everything's changed the schedule a little bit.
Yeah.
I think we
Yeah,
finalize. I think we'll find out more about the schedule this week.
I'm just gonna say, well, first of all, thank you, Coach Scott, for commenting in the chat. Appreciate you. I'm honestly just excited to just go out there and just be like, kind of like, I don't know if this is the right word, up close personal. I guess you could say like kind of buddy with everybody, and get to put our game self aside because we really don't get to hang out with players. Really, I mean, we'll talk to coaches and stuff like that, but we never get like the close experience with players that we do whenever we go to Gatlinburg. So
I think it's about time to turn this chat off.
Yeah, I was thinking about it. I'm excited.
I turned it off on my phone. I'm not even looking.
Well, no, like legit, like turn. The
No,
chat
just
off.
let them go. Just don't limit their freedom of speech. Don't limit their freedom of speech. Just let them go. Just stop looking at it. Simple as that. Out of sight, out of mind.
I was just gonna say.
Well, just don't look at it.
Unfortunately, all right. So I'm excited for just being able to get experience with the players because usually we don't get to actually hang out with the players as much as I did. The closest I got was whenever I did 40 with Manny Dang, and that was really entertaining.
Yep.
I enjoyed that whole experience. So being
you
able
trying to catch a 40 versus Jet Lodge?
I feel like he would dust me, to be fair. Game recognizes game. I'm not even going to waste my time.
You could have a 15-yard head start.
Ooh.
No, I would beat him. I would beat him. I'm not that slow. I beat him with a 15-yard.
10-yard?
Not.
I feel like 10 would be pretty close.
Y'all are underestimating me. Like, I'm not slow.
No, what? No,
you got dusted
you're not
by
slow.
Manny
That's why I'm
to be
asking.
fair, in a flannel and some jeans and some Adidas shoes, my phone fell out of my pocket. I'm saying Manny Dank's faster than me, yes, but what I'm saying is, listen, let me put some cleats on.
There he is.
Let me put some cleats on.
My guy, listen.
And it'll be a lot closer than what you guys saw in an Instagram video.
Okay. We just want to see more of it. That's the point we're getting. Just bring shorts to Gatlinburg, or bring athletic sweatpants to Gatlinburg.
Everything I wear is athletic except for game day because I have to dress professional as a cameraman, which is a thing. But
fair enough. Hey, even at the Grammys and the Oscars, the camera guys wear tuxedos.
Well,
so,
to be fair, that's the Oscars.
Yeah, they do.
That's the Oscars, not Riverside versus FCS.
Don't disrespect them like that.
Well,
Anyways.
you cannot sit here. There's not one person in the chat that should be mad because I didn't say that Riverside FCS game was as important as the Oscars.
Fair enough.
I'm just saying.
I should have played Corey Davis over DJ Chark.
You should have, and I feel disappointed for you.
Anyways, any other thoughts on the All-American?
We digress.
Anything else, James? Before we,
I always look forward to seeing the talent.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it too. We'll head up on.
And after seeing how Rocky Top ran the event last year.
Yeah, on last second too.
Over top of more so than a con artist.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love seeing how they ran that event, and really looking forward to seeing what they can do with it this year.
Yeah, we're excited to cover both the 8-man and 11-man All-American games. In a
branch
few
out a
weeks'
little
time.
bit.
Yeah, well, we did that. We did that in the previous years. We covered the 8-man and 11-man games. So, all right. Well,
you know why? Because 8 equals 11.
Mm-hmm.
Football's football.
All right, so this is a tradition we always have on the final show of the year, where we just give our thank yous and give our final send offs for the year on everything we've done through the season. And I'll first start with since you like to talk a lot, maybe you'll speed up a little bit. We'll go with James Shannon, your thank yous for the year and the stuff you want to say on our final show for 2020.
Want to give a thank you to Joel Klinger from Main Street Preps, covers Robertson County there at the game last night. Keeping an eye on South Haven. So
great
thank you for
combos
coming
to have with him too.
Yeah, absolutely. Big thanks for coming out and covering the game. Big thank you to coaches who shared film and stats with us, and just helped us make our job easier. And our job being that of giving exposure to these players and giving them the recognition they deserve.
Yeah.
When you do that, when you give us films and stats, we're able to do that so much better, and really talk these guys up.
Yeah.
It's not so much that other teams know who to key in on. It's more so of that. So, shout out to them. Shout out to really the teams in Florida and Hank and just the experience we had this last week. I know we haven't had a show since then, but man, just that whole experience in Florida was just incredible.
Yep, it's the first time we've been down there the full weekend too.
Yeah, the whole weekend, and it was just it was great.
Yeah.
It was good for me personally, like just getting to go down there and interact with everybody.
Yeah, kind of separate from real life too.
Yeah, just and then Hank, great job running everything. Love being in a legit stadium with a great setup. in terms of having plenty of room for cameras and setting our equipment up. So, let's see. That's really, there's so many people to thank.
Any
Just
people,
parents, the parents with the tons of messages we've gotten through the season about, thank you for doing this game. This person couldn't make it to the game and they were able to do it, and people commenting, thank y'all, because that's what keeps us running. It's not one individual person or school or coach or even a conference or president or director or whoever. It's none of them. It's the parents that keep us running, the kids and the coaches. And so, getting those kind of comments and messages and stuff, we constantly put them in the group chat and we're like, hey, listen, guys, this is why we do it.
Yeah.
This is why we do it. And it's 100% makes it worth it.
Any score update people you want to shout out specifically?
Yes, actually I do. Let's see.
Yeah, 'cause you had several people.
Big shout out to Mr. Brian Hunt,
Mm-hmm.
sending updates for Riverside Christian. Shout out to Mr. Jason Dooley from FCA for sending updates. Actually, a couple people from Freedom. Shout out to them for the updates.
Yeah.
Trying to think about who else.
I know Coach Charlton with Ezel Harding gave us updates at times.
Yeah, he gave us updates, and then there was somebody else from Ezel Harding that gave us updates. Anyways, but yeah, anybody else that I know I'm forgetting somebody, but anybody else that sent us updates from football games this year, a huge thank you, because that really, really helps out. Again, to be able to give adequate recognition to the players.
Yep. And
So.
and get to the Tennessee high school football and everything. Anybody else?
Let's see. Seeing if I can get their name. I don't have their name. Always Tennessee high school football.
Yeah.
For the coverage and posting the preview and helping us be able to do live scoring updates.
Yep.
It's always great. So that's about all I've got.
Zachary, your shout-outs and final thank yous for the year.
Well, I'd like to thank all of y'all because this is my first year covering anything behind camera. I missed a whole month. I'm better now though, so that's good.
Yeah.
Thank you to all the coaches and all the players. It was a really fun year. I really enjoyed it.
Producer Jack.
I would like to thank you guys as well. I didn't miss a month unlike some people, but
My God. No, you just missed almost every Saturday and every
Saturday
Thursday
and
game.
Thursday game, yeah.
didn't we have only like one Thursday game?
We had like two or three, yeah.
And like almost every Saturday game,
Yeah.
you didn't go to Jackson.
Okay, I have work responsibilities.
We know.
We're
you.
not saying you didn't. We're just saying you didn't
And
miss
I
a
got
month,
and
but
I got a woman to keep
I
up
mean,
with.
in my defense, I couldn't even sit up. So
To be fair, you were in a hospital bed.
Yeah.
And you
He
came
had
out
a
of contact with
legitimate reason.
my guy,
and they still don't know what's wrong with you.
Yeah.
You're cleared.
Yeah.
my
What?
guy did like a Drew McIntyre Claymore, or whatever
Into the wall.
kiss.
Oh, man, I just want to thank you guys especially. I'd like to thank everybody that watches our show and, is active in our chat despite it being very, WWE for us in the chat right now. Or it's kind of died down. But, we appreciate every one of you watching, every one of the coaches being welcome and open arms. And most of our games and everything like that we've been to, we appreciate, the support that you guys give us. Special shout out to the Tennessee Heat for the funds that they gave us and, that truly do support our show from their program itself. It's really nice to be around Coach Scott, especially when we were in Florida. All teams that were in Florida, that were welcoming us there.
And to be fair, they're not the only sponsor we have.
Yeah.
I was going to get into those.
That's the only one I know.
You good,
Because,
you good.
That's fair.
I
Even though you have like a whole screen with all of it. Like,
He'd have to
on there.
switch.
Would
You'd
you,
have to
would you
switch.
like me to hold on?
You could switch to yeah.
Sponsored by Dret's Pizza and GracePointe Healthcare, 20% off or to something like that you say at the end of the show. Modern medicine, the old-fashioned way.
Man,
I understand why you do this.
I do this every single show, and he
I-
doesn't even know what it is. That shows how much he pays attention to what I say.
I'm more focused on queuing us out during that time. Make
Yeah,
sure
yeah.
you
He's
sound
producing. He's producing.
And bringing us in at the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
future employees, I produce this show. Me and James Shannon, Jack Elwig, Jonathan Elwig. This is me. This is evidence. But no, I appreciate you guys. Thank you all for watching. It's been a wonderful season, and we will see some of you in Gatlinburg.
I have one more thank you
Sure.
before you get to the sponsors.
Oh
and
my
who you're thankful for.
God!
I'm
So, of
thankful
course
for
he
you
does.
two. It's been a lot of fun. I'm glad Spence was able to bring you guys on. Like, legit, the
I was
show,
about to
not
say
to down anybody that was on here before, but, like, it's been legit fun having an hour and a half show because of the conversations we're able to have. Like, to
Yeah.
actually talk football, you know,
Mhm.
that's cool. That's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So, and, like, you know, to have guys that are there, like, we're a freaking unit in Florida. Like, we all had a role, and we crushed it.
I hope I did.
Listen, no complaints.
All right, so
There you go.
you stole mine, but I was going to start with thank you to Zachary Loan and Jack Helwig for you guys coming on board this year. I know we had 3 people originally reach out, and you were the two that ended up sticking the full time around. But it's been a lot better to travel and get multiple opinions on things and to get different perspectives and such, because there's only so much of James anybody can take.
Facts. There's only so much of me I can take.
But no, genuinely, thanks to the both of you for helping me sound better on air than I am. It really helps in that. So I'm going to thank our sponsors. So we'll start out, of course, with Kingdom.com for providing our replay tablet, even though administrators decided for us not to use it midway through the season. Hopefully they'll let us use it next year. But
That's not
at
the
least
only
for
thing Kingdom does, though.
Yeah, I was about
I'm
to
sorry.
get into
I'm
it.
sorry. I'm going to shut up and look at my fantasy.
Yeah, so thanks to them for providing the tablet for us to do reviews, for the hotspot they provided for us to use, and for always giving us a good discounted rate on the equipment that we buy from them. I know next year we're going to be
We've got some
we're going to
upgrades.
try to upgrade some stuff. But the more important thing here is, if any of you, for any of you listening, if you have anything remotely that relates to any of these companies, go support them, because 2020 has affected all of us. When I was approaching sponsors earlier in 2020, this was peak coronavirus, when businesses were shutting down and everything. And rightfully, I'm not bashing anyone for doing this. Rightfully, the 90% of the time, my responses were, we are not spending anything on marketing or advertising because we are taking care of our employees. I support that. That was 100% the right move for the companies to do. It just domino affected to us, to where we had to dig into our own pockets to pay for travel costs, meal costs, and we had maybe 2 or 3 equipment costs that came in this season that covered several things, but we had to dig
Like a
into our
camera
own.
monitor we found out was busted before the season even started.
Yeah, so we had to.
But when you
fund
support
that
these
thing.
companies, you're supporting us.
Yeah,
pretty
it's
much.
going in the domino effect. So make sure, go to kingdom.com for any of your technological needs, and literally anything.
And it's not
sound-wise.
just their thing is the ministry technology provider.
Yeah.
But even like if you want to get started doing a live stream of your team.
Yeah.
Use them to get some sound equipment.
Yeah, they'll give you the lowest price
some
on
video equipment. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah, they'll give you the best costs on that and everything. Thanks to Kingdom.com for that. GracePointe Healthcare, of course, and that's the other thing about both Kingdom and GracePointe Healthcare. They're family. Kingdom.com is my aunt and uncle-in-law, Johnny and Juanita Bergeson, who run it up in Pennsylvania. GracePointe Healthcare, of course, my parents, Rob and Julie Tomset. They're always supportive, letting us use their studio here just to talk
conference room.
Yeah, this conference room, just to talk football and watch NFL games on Red Zone every Sunday. That's I think is also in part as well, to have Zachary and Jack in here to be able to talk about football, not just at the 8-man football level, but to talk professional football while we're watching this, and with you guys all having your fantasy leagues and having good conversation, which has built, I believe, very great chemistry.
We had a great team this year. But
Yeah.
another point with your mom and dad and GracePointe, the fact that they believe in it so much to put their money where their mouth is, and goes, look, you 4 guys can go every Sunday, use our conference room, to put that behind it,
Yeah.
that's huge.
And additionally supporting the
And
travel costs.
and supporting travel
Yeah.
costs, right, as a sponsor.
Grow Live Gives. Special thanks to Jim Davis, the one of the primary financial guys of that business. His kids went to Franklin Christian Academy. I graduated with his daughter Natalie, and for him to still support 8-man football because of his love for not just Franklin Christian athletics, but for 8-man football in general, for him supporting. Special thanks to him. Of course, Ryan Scott with Tennessee Heat Athletics. Special thanks to him. There is.
Well, the Tennessee Heat, the Tennessee Heat Board of Control,
Yeah, the
like
board
the
of
whole
control
board,
for
Stephen Herndon, everybody on that board that agreed to do it.
Yeah, and they mentioned they're going to increase their support for us next year, which I mean, it's there has never been one time where I had a problem with anyone in the Tennessee Heat ever. And I'm sure the rest of the guys around this table could say that we've never had a problem with Ryan Scott. We've never had a problem with any of the players. They are some of the greatest people you interact with. Just from them being open and transparent and communicating everything, they're just an incredible organization. Not just because they support us, but because of their openness with everything, so that we can present them in the best of light. So thanks.
And to be fair, that's no problems even when we've absolutely dogged them.
Yeah.
Because they didn't play a great game.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know,
exactly. And
there's been bad games that they played, and we called them out on it.
Yeah, and they've had a conversation with us afterwards.
Absolutely.
And said that, and
but it's always a conversation, and it's what we might disagree on this, but we get what you guys are doing. So thank you.
Yeah. So thanks to them, and of course, the Jets Pizza of Springfield, Fort Campbell, Clarksville, and Goodlettsville. I know that. So it's Michael Crawley, the offensive coordinator for South Haven. He sent us he sent James and I very kind words last night about thanking us for their coverage. He mentioned the amount of times that him and his son Andrew got to scout other teams and see what they were doing through our broadcast and listening to our show and everything. It's 6 years of Michael and his son Andrew being able to be father and son coaching. That doesn't happen often in high school, especially in football. It doesn't happen where you can directly see your son improve and see him grow and mature. And
I wouldn't even say scout other teams. I would say like to get to watch themselves play.
To watch themselves play and to see other stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's not the end that they wanted their father-son career and of course, but they still amazing run. They got to be state champions in 2017. Of course, he was a freshman at the time, and they got to be state champions and everything. So it was really great for him to support us. Of course, he helped contribute to our new mic flags that we got. So thanks to him on doing that, and just everything. Michael Crawley, he's a great person. Great football mind, great guy to bounce conversations off of. He's always incredible. So thanks to all the sponsors who supported us this season. Hopefully we'll get them on board next year. Maybe we'll add some more sponsors. And of course the Kentucky Kingdom and Hurricane Bay for sponsoring the halftime report. I know that they've been hit really hard with COVID-19 because of having to have the park closed for several months out of their season, but they still supported us. We did some giveaway things with them, so thanks to them for contributing. I already mentioned thanks to Zachary and Jack. Of course, thanks to James for being the backbone of 8-Man Extreme. I know that there's a lot more to a person behind the camera. There's a lot more to James behind the camera, and it's sometimes there are times at this season where all of us at one point it felt like stepping away and it felt like going away. But as James said, it's a thank you to those who encourage and support what we're doing and 100%. Are willing to have a conversation instead of not talking to us. That's been encouraging. Communication is the death and success of humanity, and those who fail to communicate are the death, but those who are encouraging us and actually having conversations with us, they are the success in this case. So thanks to everybody for listening, everyone for watching the broadcasts, everyone for encouraging, having conversations with us about the takes we've made, having conversations about things you just vehemently disagree with. We support everybody for just being fans. It's been a great season. Any final thoughts before we sign
I feel
off
like
here?
this sponsor list was a lot shorter than last year's.
It was
it
100%.
was
No, it was
100%
100%.
lost.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like I said, it was because of COVID-19. So, incredibly thankful. Anything else you guys have?
I think we should wrap up and go get some dinner.
Yeah, I think so. We're gonna wrap up the season, fully debrief, and you sure you don't have anything, James?
Good.
You good, Zach?
Yep.
You good, Jack? And I'll give you guys an update in the off season. As I mentioned, I'm on a year by year basis. I'm hoping that Zachary and Jack come back. I know that James is here until the end of time, or until the end of
You never
8-man.
know.
He's here till the end of the 8-man extreme time. But I'll give you guys an update in the off season and if I'll be back or not, because I just don't know at this point. I don't know where life's gonna take me. So, but I'm hopeful I should be back in 2021, but nothing confirmed yet.
One
So,
more thing. Congratulations to Spencer for graduating yesterday.
Yeah,
It's
let's
not
go,
about
boy. Come on,
me.
come on, boy.
It's not about me.
is now.
The university president clearly said I'm not done yet because it's December 12th and when the grades are done. They just moved back commencement because of COVID-19. But yeah, I appreciate it. It's
You
just
done, homeboy.
2 degrees down, 2 more to go.
You
So-
done, homeboy.
with degree number 2. So
That's fair.
all right. We'll play
One last time.
We'll play the full theme for the outro just to give it to everybody. So that'll do it for Extreme Radio presented by GracePointe Healthcare in 2020. We'll cover the All-American games, the Gatlinburg All-American Bowls in December, but we will be back. We will take a break on social media in December, except for the All-American games, and then we will get right back into it in March for the scheduling meeting.
Well, first
And-
Sunday of January, we're going to start reposting the games.
Yep, we'll repost the games, and then we'll get back into it with the scheduling meeting in March. But for James Shannon, Zachary Lone, Jack Helwig, I'm Spencer Thompson saying so long for 2020. We'll see you in 2021.
We'll see ya.